Let's look at the numbers. I mean, extraordinary penalty, $500 million at a minimum at this stage. Can Donald Trump pay this? Does he have enough cash? Because I was reading in the New York Times, it said it could indeed wipe out his entire cash reserves.
He appears to have the cash. He's going to have to post a bond pending the appeals, and then we see whether the penalties go into effect. This is not a fatal blow, but it really staggers him. And the heart of it, in a perception sense, is he is, after 15 years on The Apprentice on NBC, regarded as one of America's best CEOs. He is the CEO in chief. And this ruling says you can't operate your businesses, you can't serve on any boards in New York, and your companies are no longer in your control. This really hurts him personally and hurts his identity as a strong business executive, a strong leader.
His identity with that commercial background that he's had. The judge delivered, an array of punishments here, threatening his very business empire. Just how vulnerable from a commercial perspective is he now, before we look at the presidential ambitions, but from a commercial perspective?
He can survive it, but he's going to survive it again without having direct touch on the companies or being able to personally associate with the companies. So his reputation in the business community is further cemented against him, and with financial institutions that need to lend to him. They're going to be harder to find.
Okay. What has his reaction been? I was reading that one of his lawyers, Alina Habba, was reportedly saying it's a manifest injustice, plain and simple. How is President Trump controlling this narrative? What is his spin, his take on it?
It's all political. It's all designed to drive him from the election, drive him off the ballot, and that's what he says all the time. His base believes him. The question is, with Republicans who haven't voted for him yet, 30% of voters in the Republican primaries did not vote for Trump. With independent voters, with other swing voters, how does this affect their perceptions of him? He may actually have peaked in his approval rating. I don't see how this augments his standing. And he faces other trials imminently, like in New York. A criminal trial will get underway on whether he paid hush money to Stormy Daniels to try and cover up a relationship that could have affected New York voters in the election. So he's going to face trial after trial after trial.
Is there an opportunity for the Democrats here in President Biden?
President Biden, Trump needs actually an acquittal in the upcoming trial on the hush money payments to show that, in fact, he's right. For President Biden, this enables him to go to the heart of Trump's character as a person, as a business person, his morality, his leadership, and ultimately his extremism, as we've seen over the weekend on his statements on Putin, on Ukraine, and his ties with Russia and Russian propaganda in the United States. Biden will take advantage of that.
Haven't we seen, though, in past rulings, particularly with him being ruled off the ballot in certain states, it's only emboldened the base for him? It
has emboldened the base, and he knows how to capitalize on that. And every time he exits a courtroom, he makes a political statement. And then he gets on an airplane and goes to a swing state and has a political rally. And that's a very smart strategic position for him to maximize a position of great political, economic, financial disadvantage.
You mentioned there that this is all going on all the while. I believe there are 4 criminal prosecutions as he seeks to return to the White House here. Which is the most important case that could really bring him undone, if you like? Is it that Supreme Court case where the trial is criminally articulating that he tried to overturn the 2020 election? Is that the one that people will be looking at?
That is the biggest one. It's the one that poses the most threat to him. It gets to the heart of his presidency, and what he did in the final days, and whether what kind of strike it was against democracy. The Supreme Court will rule very quickly on whether he's immune from prosecution. If it says, no, you're not immune from prosecution, you have to face this, that trial will get underway, and probably in time before the election. Trump wants to delay it as much as possible and certainly not have any judgment by a jury before the election. But yes, that case actually can shift votes in a significant way. A lot of people have a problem voting for someone who is a convicted felon.